What's up, guys? This is Matt Dollar, and I'm back with the final 9 from the Titan Disc Golf Open A-Tier in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And today we are on hole number 10 at Shaver Park. We got Jordan Castro still in the lead. Cam, Todd, and myself are one behind, with Drew Gibson trailing by 5. So Drew's going to lead us off here on hole number 10. Hole number 10 is kind of a straight shot. You generally have to throw it with some hyzer if you're a righty and you're throwing backhand, and have it straighten out as it goes. Not sure what Drew went with there. It's a pretty good shot, just a little bit to the left. So Cam's going with a driver. Not sure if that's a destroyer or a T-bird, but it's a beauty. Went a little bit right, but the hole does kind of shape that way. I'm going with an escape here. It's a lucid escape. In fact, it's the only time I threw this disc the entire weekend was on this hole. But it felt right, and I followed Cam's line, as you could hear me ask there, and worked out perfectly. Jordan's last to throw. He's looking like he's carrying a bit left. And not a bad branch there, as someone else mentioned, so that'll put him inside the circle putting. Very good shots from the group here on hole number 10. In fact, just very good play in general. On the front 9, we managed to go 22, 22, 23, 24, and the course record out here at Shaver is a 46, which I put up 2 years ago in this tournament. So we all are doing really well and have a chance at reaching that course record, although the back 9 is a little bit tougher, and there are 4 holes that are pretty tough to get a 2 on, 2 of those being definite par 4s. Well, Drew puts his putt in, and then Jordan is just barely off, and if you're just a little off on these Mach 3s, they're not going to catch. You really have to be precise on these and just hit it nice and soft right in the middle. You can see Cam puts it dead center, but he still looked a little nervous about if it was going to catch it or not. So you guys that watch my videos know that generally, at least the videos from earlier this year, I putt pretty hard. But if you've noticed in this video, and in fact the last few weeks on tour, I've been playing on a lot of Mach 3s, and so I haven't been putting very hard. I've changed my putting style and my thoughts just a little bit to adapt to these baskets that don't catch strong putts. So we're going to move on here to hole number 11, and this one is written down as a par 4 on the scorecard, but it is twoable. It's kind of a tweener hole. You have to pound a driver. If you're a righty throwing backhand, you got to throw it with a lot of hyzer, like Cam shot right here. That's basically what you can do. You can't finish too much further right because of the tree line, and Cam's drive is beautiful, but it's still going to have him right around the circle's edge. I went with the Snowline Ballista and threw a really good shot, but it definitely finished a little too far left, so I'm just hoping that I didn't go down the hill, and maybe we'll have a look at a long 2. Jordan straightens his out just a bit, but he's lucky and catches one of those trees that puts him back down in the fairway, so he should be able to get up and down. Drew with a quick draw there with a sidearm felon. Oh, actually that was a suspect, because I asked Drew afterwards. So Drew and Jordan both chip up. I'm looking at about a 60-footer, maybe a little closer, but definitely outside of 50. And I've got that tree right behind me, and because of the angle, I can't really get a good push off. So I have to throw a hyzer putt. So close to getting the judge in on that one, but 3 here is not bad. Cam with a chance to take the lead there with that putt. It's so close, just comes up a hair short. So everyone's pretty close to the basket. We just got a little bit of cleanup to do before we move on to hole 12. Jordan puts his in there. Jordan's looking a little frustrated right now. Everyone's playing really good, so you pretty much have to get a birdie or something close to it on every hole just to hang in there, or at least so far it's been like that. Drew gives his suspect a little kiss there, and chips it in. So that's it for hole number 11, and we'll move on to hole 12. 12 is a birdie hole. You want to get this one. It's not an easy line. You have to throw a hyzer way to the right of the basket, and you have to keep it pretty low, and you also have to rely on getting a skip to get up there to the basket. Drew throws a very nice angle here. Might be a little too far left. So he takes that big skip that you're looking for. He's a little short left, but that'll get him on the green. And if you're keeping track from the previous video to this one, Drew has birdied like a ton of holes in a row. Cam throws a good drive. I go with a defender. Skip it up there nicely, a little short. Everyone comes up a little short on this one. Honestly, if you get all the way to the pin, that means that you threw your drive a little too far straight or to the right and snuck through the non-fairway. So if you do use the fairway, you're going to come up a little short on this hole. Jordan gets a little bit wide right. Like if that one had skipped through, it would probably be parked, but you can see here that if you do take it a little wide, you have to get through all those trees right there, so you really do want to skip it into the short side. So Jordan's going to be furthest out. Looks like he had a little bit of a tricky line through there and just not able to get one in. Cam with a perfect line just comes up a hair short, and he's definitely not happy with that one. I'm lining this one up with my judge, and that birdie there will get rid of that three-way tie for first, and I will move into solo first place. Drew continues that amazing birdie streak with another one here on hole number 12. I believe Drew has birdied every hole since hole number 5, which is pretty incredible. Jordan with a nice comeback putt there. And so we're going to move on to hole number 13, and hole number 13 is a downhill double fairwayed par 4. Definitely a cool hole. You want to play the fairway to the right, honestly. You don't need to bite off too much on your drive, but you got to get down the middle and then finish just a hair right. Drew goes with that judge, and he asks for it to pick a side, but it doesn't, and it stays right in the middle. I'm going with a thumber with my Opto Spark, just trying to put it down there in the middle. If you could see, it rolled out just a hair at the end there. Probably a pretty good rollout. Although it's going to give me less of a straight shot and more of a hyzer, just not being up against any trees is definitely a bonus. Cam misses the fairway left, and Jordan misses the fairway right. This is not a very easy tee shot if you don't have a good sidearm or thumber, if you're trying to play that right side. Cam shows why he's a crafty veteran right here and pulls out a really good looking roller. He chooses that left side of the fairway and gets really far up there, so he should be able to get up and down for his par. Jordan catches that early tree, and I know that's rough. He has got to come up with something really good here if he wants to save par. And on cue, Jordan just throws an amazing backhand up that right side, gets the skip. It's still going to leave him a little short, probably about 35-40 feet, because he's just at the edge of the wood line, but great shot from Jordan Castro. Drew's going to have to take the left fairway here. He's going sidearm with a felon.
Yeah, you're. How about if you just put it under it, you have a putt too?
I don't know if you heard Cam there, but basically Drew just put it right under the basket. My defender gets a little high on that right side because you got to keep it really low, but it kind of skirts through everything or whatever it flirted with and gets me up there for a birdie putt. So Jordan's got this long putt here to try and save par, which would be amazing after hitting that early tree on the right and then throwing directly into another tree.
Yeah. Good putt.
Amazing putt from Jordan Castro. The gallery loves it. I'm able to knock my birdie in there, move myself into a 2-stroke lead. And Drew will just drop in for birdie, so Drew continues his amazing streak. And we will move on to the 300-foot hole number 14. This one is your last chance at an easy birdie. Although it's still not easy because there's trees everywhere. You want to go just to the right of the tree that Drew hit, and that's what I'm trying to do with the Anheuser-Sinus. But I hit that same tree. Another tricky part of this hole is the fact that it slopes off directly behind the basket. Boy, Cam throws just a gem right here. That is just a beautiful shot. And even though it's a fast green, his pace was good, so he probably stopped in putting range. Jordan turns one over just a little too much. Not going to have a putt from there probably. Probably going to have to lay up. I go with the layup. I make sure to land my putter about 25 feet short because I know it's going to slide down that hill a bit. Should slide me up inside of 15. I believe Drew's also just going to try to lay up. He does, but he lays up a little bit spicy. So Jordan, I really thought Jordan would run this actually. But he lays up, I guess to keep himself in the ball game, but Cam makes that birdie, moves back within one of the lead. And I believe Jordan is 2 off the lead at this point. If I was Jordan, I think I would have went for that one. So Jordan gets his par, I get my par, and so will Drew. Cam cards the only birdie, and we go to a backup on hole 15, which is the other tweener. It is called a par 4 on the scorecard, but it is reachable. It's 485 feet, I do believe, and you got to hit some tight gaps on the right side there. If you do kick left, you're in another fairway, and it's pretty tricky to get up and down. Drew slips on the tee there. This tee was incredibly slick. So I'm going to try to throw very soft. So I really just didn't worry about power. I just tried to make sure I kept my lower body really quiet and just threw it nice and smooth. And I went with the Snowline Ballista. Jordan just uncorks on one here with an enforcer. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the best drives you'll ever see on this hole. That enforcer that Jordan's throwing, he told me that he's been throwing that since they came out, or no, since he joined Team Latitude 64, which was 3 years ago. So that enforcer's put in some work, and I saw Jordan throw some really good shots with it this weekend. So I'm in a little bit of a weird spot there, so I'm just going to lay up. A 3 is good on this hole. But Cam's got a little tricky lie. He's going to try to make it. Just misses. If he would have made that putt, that would have got him back to tied for the lead. So Jordan's 2 off the lead. He's got a chance to try and get back here. Oh, actually Jordan is 3 off the lead at this point, I do believe. So he needs to make this to get back in the ball game. Great putt from Jordan. And that might be the only 2 that got carded on this hole today. Drew, after hitting a tree and kicking into that left fairway, threw a pretty good upshot, but he's stuck in this bush. Oh, great up and down from Drew. You know, after a slow start, Drew is really just killing this course. So Cam's got a little comebacker. Nothing's a gimme on these baskets. but he knocks it in there, no problem. And we move to hole 16. I believe this one is less than 300 feet, or maybe right about 300 feet, but it is tight. You gotta go to the right of where Jordan went if you're throwing a backhand. And then the basket sits right on the edge of this little ledge. There's the basket. And there's a casual water creek below in that ditch in front of the basket. So, not sure if Drew was trying to go up that left side, but worked out okay. Since no one looks like they're going to get a birdie here, I decide I'm going to play the super safe shot and throw a sidearm thumber up the left side with my Moonshine Spark. Basically just trying to put myself in position for a super easy 3, and if I have a chance for 2, it's a bonus. Jordan makes a great upshot there. And Cam with a good upshot too. You know, I think when I said Jordan was 3 behind going in that last hole, I believe I was incorrect. I believe he is now only 1 behind after carding that eagle on the previous hole. So Drew has a really tough line. As you can see, there are a ton of trees in between him and the basket. And my line's not too much better. He goes with a high lofter, just catches the edge of the rim, and it rolls down there. But it's not as bad as it looks. Should be able to get up and down. I've got a really tight gap I'm trying to putt through here between those 2 trees. And as I told Cam Todd afterwards, basically the only way for me to make that putt was to knock any ants on the side of that tree off, because it had to be that close to make it. Had to be that close to the tree to go in the basket, rather. So everyone's going to knock in for par here, and we'll move on to hole 17, which is probably the toughest par 4 on the course. I guess the toughest hole in the course. You got a tight gap to hit to get out into an open field. And these guys are going to try to uncork one here, it looks like. Jordan's got that enforcer again. That's the problem on this hole. If you try to throw it hard and miss that gap, he missed left side, kicked left, and he might be in that creek that Drew was just in. Cam misses right side, squirrels through the first gap, but then hits a tree and kicks forward left. Not going to be a great position. Pretty much no chance at a birdie after that. So with those 2 guys that were only 1 stroke behind me, both missing the gap, I decide the smart play is just to go with a thumber to try and get myself out in the field. I go Moonshine Spark and put it right where I want it. After I threw that, I was kind of wondering why I didn't just do that on this hole every time, because it put me in a pretty good spot. So Jordan, who's stuck way back in the left side, throws and catches a tree. Cam could pitch back out to the fairway and try to get up and down, but he is going straight through the jungle here. Clips a little something, but it just keeps cruising. That is a sick shot from Cam Todd. It's actually going to get him inside of 70 feet from the basket. So Jordan's going to have to pitch out there, and now he's just going to have to try and get up and down for a bogey 5. I go with the mace. I think if I birdie this, it's over. Man, it was running right towards the basket, maybe a little high, but then caught the last tree in between me and the basket, and it kicked pretty hard left. So this green slopes on 3 sides of the basket, including the left side, so probably won't have a great look there. I'll just have to pitch up and just try to move on to the last hole with a 1-stroke lead. So that's where Drew's driving it up. He just pitches through, not able to get all the way through. Jordan throws a great little forehand right there, and that's going to get him a tap-in 5. But it's going to drop him to 2 strokes behind me, the leader, and pretty much end his chances at a win here. So Cam, not sure if Cam was trying to go for it or just lay up. It looked kind of like he was just laying up. So since no one's going to catch me here, I'm just going to lay mine up. I actually did have a pretty decent little line there, but I decided there was no reason to flirt with a roll away when you're trying to win the tournament. So I'll tap in for my par and move into hole number 18 with a 1-stroke lead on Cam and a 2-stroke lead on Jordan. And I believe Drew is 3 or 4 behind at this point. He is 4 behind at this point. So hole number 18, probably just a hair under 300 feet. You got to go straight ahead. If you see those 2 trees, or there's kind of 3 trees around the creek down there, you want to go in between those and then turn right. Basically where Cam's going. There's the basket. And he flies it quite a bit too far, but he'll have a putt from there. Drew's going to go with a sidearm felon. Pulls it just a bit. Sneaks through.
I'm sorry, guys. That was terrible.
And Drew apologizes to the group. That's funny. I'm just going to go with the thumber with the Opto Spark. Just trying to get it somewhere up there. It catches a little bit of rollback, but probably only 30 feet. Looking for birdie. But at this point, I just wanted to put myself in position for some kind of putt, and if Cam doesn't make his, I'll just lay up. If he does, then I'll go for it. I actually kind of prefer the sidearm on this this hole, but just to make sure I hit the gap, the initial gap and the second gap between the trees, I decided to go with the thumber. So Cam's got a long bid, gives it a good run, but he's not able to put it in. So that'll just prompt a layup from me, and I'll slide my judge right up to the pole so that I can close out with a win. Jordan's got a putt for 2 here that'll get him back into a tie for second place.
Yep.
Nice putt from Jordan, and a very good showing this weekend, averaging way above his rating, including a 1063 rated second round. He doesn't look too happy, but I think once he reflects upon this tournament, he'll see that he played some really good golf. Drew sneaks through for that birdie and makes good on his putt. And Drew really, he charged after those first 4 holes. But he went, I believe, 2 up or 1 up through the first 4 or 5 holes, and really cost him any chance at a comeback. But he still played some great golf after that. So Cam's just got to tap this in for a tie with Jordan. And that was a no-doubter. Cam's not getting a lot of love from these baskets this weekend. I mean, I'm not sure these baskets love anyone, so I'm going to tap out and secure my first A-tier victory of this year. And lucky enough to grab a 3rd win in the last few weeks. 1 in Wisconsin, 1 in Minnesota, and now 1 in Iowa. The northern Midwest is treating me very good. So there's a little quick glance at the scorecard, and here's a glance at how everyone else finished up, at least the cashers. So I appreciate everyone watching, and I will have some more videos coming up shortly of all the other things I've been videoing on my tour and haven't had a chance to edit them out yet. So thanks to Latitude 64 for their support, and RidgeRoller Customs for my sweet Zuca cart. Please check them out. And also to Karen Manahan for being kind enough to film this round. Great job, Karen. Thanks for watching, guys.